Man, it's unbelievable. It's week 11 coming up in the college football scene. Today is November the 7th, 2024. I am Mr. 411. And yes, it is now time for crossing the lines with the calculator. What's up, calculator?
Greetings and salutations. You get all pumped up, and then in the blink of an eye, Mr. 411, Halloween goes by, Thanksgiving's on the line, and then the season's over with. It's like before you, it's like it just started, Mr. 411. I
Yeah,
know, I mean, it is just crazy how fast the football season's always, it takes forever to finally get here, and then when it gets here, it's gone before you know it.
it's gone, man. It's like one of them comets that just go through space, man. And all of a sudden it's here. You wait a billion years for a comet to come by, and then it's gone like in like 2 hours. So
Yep.
yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, we are on TikTok, Mr. 411. We're also on Instagram, Mr. 411. And you can follow us on YouTube because you really should do that. You got to hit the like, the notification bell. You need to share because calculator, why should you share?
Hey, sharing is caring, Mr. 411.
Absolutely. And you'll find us on 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. That's 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. And the reason why you should do it, because you don't want to miss your
No.
friendly wages and all those opportunities that are right there, right in front of you, the money that you could make. And Calculator cannot wait to drop the nuggets for today. And we have Friday Night Lights Calculator.
Yes, sir. And Mr. For One, I do want to add right before we get to it that notification button is especially important because as the busy season, as we call it in a lot of spaces, with Black Friday and we got
Right,
Thanksgiving, you got 3 NFL games. I mean, people visiting family, going shopping, getting ready for Santa Claus coming to town. Hey, you want to know when the information is out there because Mr. 41 he it seems like he's all over the road once basketball season starts, doing his thing. So that's why I said notify so that you know when we hit the air.
absolutely. And you don't want to get caught slipping, as you said, Calculator.
That's
There's so much
that's
going on.
that's
You don't
right.
want to get caught slipping and missing out. All
Oh,
right. Well, look, one
right.
thing I know I don't want to miss out on, man. I'm gonna try to get my hands on some of that, and that's the Friday fries. So don't be surprised if you see me real soon. I know there's a couple games left in
Yeah.
Peach County, Georgia, but
that
I'm
that's
gonna try to get me some
hey,
Friday fries, man.
You are correct. The playoffs for high school, the local high school, actually starts next week. So that's when yours truly, Peach County, won their region. So they're guaranteed at least a home game. And they've already got the Fry Daddy coming back to get those French fries ready. They're expecting record crowds to turn out. Luckily I got one more week. I can rest up. So they have a nice game. I can sit down and watch while I'm getting watch and relax before yours truly will be hitting the French fry stand at the local high school game next week. But hey, yeah, hey, don't take my word for it. Check out prior episodes. We are scorching Friday Night Lights. A lot of people lie. I'm not gonna say other people lie about their records. I'm going to tell you the truth. I think we may have lost one, maybe two, if we include one of the very early episodes. But then we went on a high streak. Then we got tripped up, and then Boise State's been friendly for us for the past couple weeks. Boise State's not there to bail us out this Friday, Mister 411. So hey, I'm going to go with another team that I've been pounding them. Hey, I faded them twice this year. It was good, but I always said in my fade, they are a team normally you can back when it's not a time to back. Well, this time I'm backing again. They did. Hey, they were our jackpot last week. Again, you can fact check me all you want. We picked Iowa as our jackpot last week against Wisconsin, and that game was over by halftime. And folks, I'm going with the Hawkeyes again because Vegas does not like the Hawkeyes. And I mean, look, Wisconsin cover, Northwestern cover. Yes, that Michigan State was one of those games where it was kind of like it was just an odd game. If you saw the game script, it did the score did not really show what I thought because my team was the better team. They just actually Michigan State probably played their best game of the year. I'm not gonna lie. That was not Michigan. I was betting more against Michigan State than I was Iowa on that game. But hey, Washington cover. Ohio State, that was, hey, we actually picked Ohio State to cover that game. So that was one of those Iowa fades that we did. So we've been tracking these Iowa Hawkeyes and tracking them fairly good. Like I said, we've only, whether we faded them or stopped them, we've only lost once. Well, you know what? I'm going to go to the well and I'm going to back them again. For the mere fact is, it's the type of team they're playing. They are phenomenal against these slow-paced teams. UCLA is the slowest paced offense in the Big Ten, and that, hey, there is no better pace that Iowa likes than one of those slow paced teams. They can, that again, they exert their defense. UCLA is not good on explosive plays. That's the one thing that Iowa is susceptible to, is explosive plays. UCLA is second to last in explosive plays in the Big Ten. So yes, that they're not going to have the firepower that an Ohio State had, or even not even firepower, but we'll go to the Iowa State game where we faded them. Iowa State had all these things. This is, and I was one of those teams. We always talk about what travels good on college and NFL teams. Defense, Iowa, top 5, 10 in Big Ten defense. What travels running team, in my opinion, the second best running back in the NCAA, and Caleb Johnson right behind Genty for Boise State. So, hey, Genty's been bringing it to us when we back his team, and we're going with Caleb Johnson this Friday night. The Bow Constrictor is going to be out in full force. They're going to, press, and Garbers. Hey, I'll give Garbers credit, but they're not playing a Nebraska. They're not playing a Rutgers. They are playing a team that's going to be a step up in talent, and I just think it's under a touchdown. My number actually had it close to Iowa -7, -8. So it is close to the margin that I have. But hey, if I feel good enough, I will be laying the number, because hey, I'm going to trust the hot streak we're going. I'm going to trust the team that's being fair. There's one team we're going to go over later, and there's only one team that's been more friendly to the Fry Daddy / calculator than the Iowa Hawkeyes, and we'll go over them later. But yeah, for this pick, this Friday night, sit down and enjoy it with that Iowa Hawkeyes. We're going to name them the Iowa Bow Constrictors, as we're enjoying another day on a Friday night. Fry Daddy telling you, take the Iowa Hawkeyes -5.5 for the Friday night pick. And folks, that is not a Photoshop right there. That is my actual fries the day after Hurricane Helena came through town, and we were partying because it missed us. So luckily we were much thankful for. So everybody was enjoying the early Friday night fries. That was a Saturday, but we had to postpone the game due to, in case the hurricane came through. But yeah, that was a great picture. But hey, go with the Hawkeyes. We love them. Keep going for it. Frentz, love the coach. He knows how to win them, and I was going to enjoy having a Friday night cable audience to cheer them on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's exciting, man. Like I said, I can't wait to get my hands on some of those fries, and I'll let everybody know how they taste from Mr. 411's perspective. And if they taste half as good as the way the calculator says they are, man, we got to bottle that stuff up, man, and get it in Kroger somewhere.
That's that's right, man.
All right. Let's see what else is going on, man. Yeah, Texas State and UL Monroe. Man, the
Yeah,
Warhawks. What's going on
yeah.
here,
You
man?
might be saying, why is Calculator getting one of those ESPN Triple Plus games on there? Well, the reason is I didn't find hardly any 12 o'clock games that really caught my interest. So it's like, hey, I got to give people something so they can get have excitement throughout the week. And I said, hey, this one kind of caught my eye, because I said, okay, it's not a game that a lot of people are familiar with, and a lot of times that's when you get your edge. And folks, this is all about home cooking, folks. And if you know me, I'm originally from the Gulf Coast in Biloxi, so we love us some gumbo that originates out of the Cajun parts of Louisiana. This is more Louisiana. Monroe's kind of like a northern state, but hey, we accept them in the Gulf Coast family. But yeah, home cooking, folks. Not only is the University of Louisiana Monroe 4-0 straight up at home this year, they are 4-0 against the spread at home this year. Yes, hard to get a good read on Texas State on the road, on where they're on the road this year, because they've only had 2 road games this year. But hey, what I like best is not only am I getting that key number of 7, a home dog with 7 points, I'm getting the hook on top of it. That's right. This thing's at 7.5. That's why you do that new notification. This could go down to 7 anytime, especially if they take the calculator's advice and people start pounding the home dog on this one. Oh, yes. Hey, I know the Texas State quarterback McLeod has been phenomenal early on this year, but word on the street, he's been banged up. Definitely not effective when he cannot use his mobility. Hey, I had this game at 4 points. Hey, if you just take McLeod, McLeod, he's 4 points better than a backup, but a full 7 points better if he's better than the backup on the road. You always want to experience a quarterback on the road. So hey, McLeod could miss this game, folks. But you know what? I think and I'm going to go on the record, Mr. 4-1. I actually think the Warhawks can actually win the game outright, much less giving me a touchdown and the hook. Hey, I love the University of Louisiana Monroe on this spot at home against a banged up Texas State team. And heck, word on the street. Well, not word on the street. You can look at Vegas. The Vegas is giving you, if you want money line, plus 240. That means you can bet $10, get 24, or you can bet $100, get 240, and so forth. That's what that plus 240 means. So hey, take them on the money line and get them a little over 2.5 to the money for you. And hey, you can do like what Calculator did in that Iowa game early on. Hey, see if Texas State scores an early touchdown or an early points, and you get even more juice on the money line, because I really think University of Monroe can win the game outright. But if you want to play it safe, if you want to be conservative, okay, just take the plus 7.5, because I think it's an easy cover for the University of Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. Hey, they beat James Madison at home, and James Madison's no joke. So I really like the Warhawks at home, especially getting over a touchdown.
All right. Take the Warhawks. Calculator, man. That's great, man. Great story there, man. I'm glad you guys accept Louisiana Monroe in the Gulf.
Yes.
I don't want them to feel left out, man.
That's right.
All right. And I gotta get some gumbo too, man. That's next too on my list.
Hey, and you know what? One of the famous dishes at the Calculator's house when he's with the family is there's a chicken gumbo that my mom's recipe that she got from her dad, who is from the French Quarter of Louisiana, before he moved to Biloxi, Mississippi, a little place called the Iberville. Yeah. She puts that roux in there, and a friend of the show, Bo, has actually tasted some of the Calculator's mom's gumbo before when I brought it to work one time, and I let him have a little taste, and he said he enjoyed it. But my mom, when she gets that roux going, and she just eyeballs it when it's the right color, the way she looks at it, that's when she knows it's ready, and that's when it's ready to serve.
Man, that's when you know you can cook, man. When you just eyeball everything, come on now. All right. Well, guess what? I know what happened when you ate it, man. You were like, man, that's the jackpot. Well, that hit the jackpot.
Big win. Epic win.
That's right, folks. Hey, when you hear the backup numbers on this, you'll see why this is the Calculator's jackpot pick of the week. Hey, we won our last two on the jackpot. 2 weeks ago, Utah State squeaked one out, but hey, it was still a win. Last week, it was over by halftime. Iowa, thank you very much. That's all I went back to them. But hey, hopefully we can get this one done early as well. But hey, Marshall, Thunder, and Herd has not been that bad this year. They are 5-3. However, all three of their losses were on the road at Virginia Tech as an underdog, at Ohio State as an underdog, at Georgia Southern as an underdog. But guess what? Even though they were losses, they were underdogs, but they covered in all three of those games, folks, because they were closer than what the experts thought. Yeah, on top of that, hey, being 5-3 means one thing. The magic number is 6. What does that do? That makes you bowl eligible. So, hey, let's go a little back in other 5-3 teams playing a poor team. All right. Okay. So if you have a 5-3 team like Marshall playing a poor team like Southern Miss, who has a winning percentage under 25%, if you bet those type of scenarios blindly, they cover 60% of the times. Now, if that 5-3 team is coming in as a double-digit favorite, that cover rate goes all the way up to 64% of the time. So, hey, with that said, let's look at this poor team in Southern Miss, right? They have 1 year, 1 win all year. And it's not in those last 5 games. Their 1 year came all the way early in the year against a non-FCS school, Southland Powerhouse, Southeast Louisiana. And even
wow.
That's right, Sam. We're going to another part of Louisiana, folks. And even in that victory, Southern Miss had less first downs and lost the time of possession in that game. Even though they won the game, underlying metrics did not like Southern Miss in that game, right? So, hey, and after Southern Miss recently got mathematically eliminated from being bowl eligible, Southern Miss said, let's scrap everything. They fired their coach on their bye week to see if they can get the interim coach some time to prepare for this game coming up. But, hey, that doesn't deter me, because if you have a team with 7 losses coming off of a loss, which Southern Miss is, and they're coming in as a underdog of more than 8 points at home, they are 30 wins against 54 losses. Folks, that is a against the spread of 37%. So you have a buy on Marshall, 64% in the scenario, a fade of Southern Miss at minus 37%. So it's like, okay, all that right there. But I'm going to even pound on, and this is what made it the jackpot, is when I look at some metrics in this field. All right. So you have a team with, on top of the statistics, the Southern Miss O-line has been awful all year. They've allowed 30 sacks this season, which is 1 in every 14 dropbacks, right? On the other side, you have Marshall, who has 22 sacks on the year, and in their defensive that has happened on an opponent's every 1 out of every 9 dropbacks. So, okay, let you on the last 2 matches, we'll just take the last 2 matchups of what Southern Miss did. They, against Arkansas State, they allowed Arkansas State, before the Southern Miss matchup, had 6 sacks for the whole year up to that day in 6 matchups. And the Southern Miss, they got 6 sacks that particular game. So it's like, okay, maybe that's an anomaly. We'll see. Okay, well, the next game, James Madison comes into Southern Miss town. James Madison only had 3 sacks in 4 conference games. They had 9 sacks against Southern Miss. Against James Madison had 9 sacks against Southern Miss. All right. Okay. So let's take the sacks out of the equation. Let's look at the running game. Okay, say they're not going to air the ball because they know they can. They're going to be able to sack every 1 every 14. This will be probably 1 every 6 dropbacks against a team like Marshall that can rush the quarterback. Southern Miss is averaging only 3.5 yards per carry, and on defense they're giving up 5.6 yards per carry. Marshall, on the other hand, is averaging 4.6 yards per carry on offense and allow only 3.6 yards for defense. Folks, this one's not going to be close. I have Marshall winning by 3 touchdowns. They'll hit the 13.5 by halftime. Unfortunately, I don't know. You got to bet it now, because I think once it crosses the key number of 14, that thing could steam up to the next key number of 16 or 17. So yeah, this one's going to be steamed up, especially once all those underlying metrics come out. So I love the Marshall Thunder and Herd here at minus 13.5, even if it's on the road. I just narrated the scenario. You blindly bet the situation, you cover 64%. You blindly bet against the other situation. What you say, if you fade the team that's only covering 34% of the time in that situation, hey, all the numbers are pointing to Marshall Thunder and Herd to blow this game wide open.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Last time I talked about Marshall, man, I don't know. It's been a while, but I'm glad you brought them up,
Yeah.
man. Is it Randy Moss the last time I talked about them? But man, calculate, you just find them, man.
Yeah.
You continue. You never cease to amaze there, man.
That's right. Got to look through the forest. Got to look beyond the trees to look into the forest. I don't know how that saying goes, but yeah. Got to pick them out, especially if you can find an edge.
That's right. You sniff them out, calculator, and man, you know what happens, man, when them fries are going and it's smelling good out there at that stadium.
Yeah.
You start getting goosebumps, man. You start getting goosebumps, and you start getting ready, man. I got a feeling, man, something big's about to happen, Cal.
what that means?
Oh, folks, this one caught my attention because it's like, man, I'm just looking at prior games. It's like, okay, Duke. I've been fading Duke all year, folks. And then the one time I picked them, because I picked them against Miami because I thought that defense. But folks, look at the last game. You have a team that lost 53-31, playing a team that just won 59-28, but the spread is only 3 points. I said, man, North NC State, man, they're running 2 game. They're not only they kill that team, they were on a 2-game winning streak, while Duke is on a 2-game losing streak. Hey, folks, I watched because I had a friendly wager on the side in that Miami Duke game. I took Duke. Duke was winning that game. They were actually in control of that game midway through the third quarter. Things went wrong. Very wrong. It was one of those things, but Malik Murphy, he showed me, he proved me something. And then they got that you see that Jay Moore, they called him Jomo. He probably made 2 of the best college football catches of the year in that particular game. So folks, I'm a believer in the Duke that if they play a lower paced offense and a team that plays at a slower pace, that's up to, hey, Miami, Blitzkrieg. SMU should have boat raced them if it wasn't for SMU turning the ball over 6 times, right? So, hey, NC State is more of Duke Blue Devil thing. And I really like the front 7 of the Duke Blue Devils. Again, they struggled against good offenses. Folks, I don't care if there were 59 points put up against Stanford. They only put 17 up against Syracuse. They only put 24 up against Northern Illinois. Folks, this isn't an explosive offense. So Duke should be able to get after the quarterback, should be able to keep the game close. Malik Murphy should be able to do enough. And I think Duke Blue Devils win the game outright. But hey, don't get greedy on this one, because even though I don't think you're going to get a good enough number on the money line to take them straight on the line. So take the field goal in case something weird happens and it's a tied game and Duke did what they did against SMU and just implode somewhere. So the 3 points is kind of like a safety net to at least get you a push if something doesn't go your way. But I do think Duke wins the game. But hey, to be on the safe side, I'm just going to take the full field goal, because I think Duke, man for man, actually, in my opinion, is better than NC State.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, let's keep it rolling, calculator.
Oh, and hey, this next one, folks, I foreshadowed it. Yes, we didn't do it last week because Michigan State burned me and they were playing and the line looked funny. And I didn't know if the quarterback for this team I'm about to pick was playing. But hey, the team that has been most friendly to Mr. 401 and the calculator and whoever listens to our show is the Indiana Hoosiers, folks. The Indiana Hoosiers, they are on fire, folks. The last 5 games, Michigan State cover, Washington cover, Nebraska cover, Northwestern cover, Maryland cover. It's cover all over the board. That Maryland cover is still so amazing because they were -4 in turnover margin and still covered. Folks, Indiana has been on fire, and I'm just going to, Mr. 401, I'm going to ride them until they play the Ohio State game, because I don't know how they're going to match up against the Ohio State team. But Rourke is playing. Rourke and hey, you mentioned them when we got, because we got on the bandwagon early. We got on the bandwagon at that Maryland game. So you saw Indiana, and they were covering even before that Maryland game. So, hey,
That's
Indiana
right.
has been, Indiana equals ATM. So one of those that you're just going to keep the train going until it's a time to fade, almost like the Iowa teams that we've been doing this year. But I don't care if it's 14. That thing could be up to 17, because Cingnetti knows that he has not, the only top 25 team Indiana's going to play this year is going to be Ohio State. And you can say, calculate, this is Michigan. Michigan is not your Michigan of the Harbaughs, right? This Michigan has trouble throwing the ball. And hey, look at Indiana. Listen, and look what Indiana does as game goes on. Indiana was down 10-0 in that Michigan State. And I was thinking, oh, man, I'm glad I didn't give this to our people. And then all Indiana did is just scored 47 straight points after that. So, hey, I want
Right.
that. I want that on my team. I want that team to follow that. So, hey, let's take them 14. And even if it's 14 and a half by the time you get to the ticket, anything under 17, feel comfortable with it, because I really think Indiana keeps the momentum going. Because, like I said, this is their only 120 top 25 team they're playing is Ohio State. So when they play these not non-top 25 teams, they're going to have to do what Penn State likes to do, which is run up the score. So yes, love Indiana in the spot because they need it. And hey, and don't get discouraged early, folks. Again, they gave up those early 10 points to Michigan, but Indiana shows that they can score early and often. And Singetti knows what he's doing. Rourke is back. Rourke is firing. And heck, I even like the Indiana defense from what they showed me in the past. So yeah, Indiana wins this game and wins by at least. I'm saying 17 points. So I'm only giving up 14. I feel good about it.
Yes, sir. We love those Hoosiers, man. And they look, in the words of Jim Moore, man, we're gonna be talking playoffs with
Playoffs.
Indiana.
That's right.
They continue their winning ways. All right, who is next, calculator? Who's
Oh,
next?
hey, I always get tired of, when I play them, Dion burns me. When I play against them, Dion burns me. So you know what? I'm not going to play a side in this game, especially at that 3 and a hook. That kind of got me off of it, because I really do like Colorado to win this game. But you know what? I'm going to just sit back. I'm going to pop some popcorn. I'm going to make sure I can get this game on TV, because we got the Texas Tech Raiders at home against Dion's surging Buffaloes. And also, hey, Colorado's coming off a bye week.
Bye week, yeah.
I mean, so he's going to be coming in fresh. Listen, the lowest point total for Texas Tech home games was 30 points 6 games ago against Arizona State. Texas Tech is next to last in pass defense for the year. Hey, and what is Colorado's strength, folks? It's passing the ball. So, yes, Texas Tech only scored 23 against Ohio State, but, folks, there was a tsunami going on. There was that sideways rain. They weren't going to throw the ball if they didn't have to. Iowa State was – it was just hard for them to go to give that. But hey, Colorado's going to do what Colorado do. They're going to pass. They're going to pile up points, and they're going to make Texas Tech have to play a quicker pace to keep the game close. So this game easily goes over, because 62.5. I was thinking, I was thinking this was like a 42-40 type game. You know what I'm saying? Kind of close in the 80s. So 62 is kind of. I mean, that could be kind of smelly in itself. Is this really going to be it? No. I think Colorado is going to push the pace, and I think Texas Tech, they have the horses and a good enough offense to keep pace. Just look at Texas Tech. We can flash it in the 5 games. Let's toss out the Iowa State game. That's good. Yeah, thank you, producer. 35-34, 59-35, 44-41 against Cincinnati on that home game. Folks, Texas Tech can score when they need to score, and we all know Colorado can score. So, yeah, this one easily goes over the 62.5. Again, if you listen to the show, calculator don't like over-unders, because there's a lot of weird things that can happen. But this one's just too good, because this could be like a 10-3 at halftime, and then the things, anytime this game could blow up for like 4 touchdowns in 4 minutes, with the way these offenses play. And then you always have the secret, Mr. 4-1, of an overtime. You never know. Hey, we saw that Baylor-Colorado game go to overtime. There can be that game, if it goes to overtime, that one went over on the total in the Baylor-Colorado game because of the overtime. So, hey, even if they keep it close, if it's tied, hey, we're tied. Hey, we're good with 30-30 going to overtime, because somebody's got to win. And if it's 30-30 at overtime, you're guaranteed a winner of over 62.5. So, yeah, take the over this one.
Yeah, definitely a shootout, man. Definitely. All right. Looking forward to it, man. That's a team. I'm not going to say I'm not going to use bowl eligible. I mean, playoffs yet, but they're definitely bowl eligible now. So now they're going to have a little extra more, oomph in their game now. Now that they're kind of getting those numbers next to their name.
They are in the hunt to make the Big 12 championship. And folks, the winner of the Big 12 championship gets a playoff spot.
There you go. All right. Even more incentive to take the over. All right, calculator, man. We're getting closer to the end, man. But we're not sad. We're not sad about that, because this next game, man, intrigues me.
Oh, and folks, this you're going to be saying, I mean, Air Force. What in the world is the calculator doing choosing a 1 and 17? I mean, Air Force Falcons, folks, this is strictly a target play. And what I mean is we got a double-digit dog and a low over under. That situation has been very comfortable. Hey, if you just do it blindly, you're at 63%. But when the calculator's betting it, I think we've done this 6 specific times in our past 3 years, Mr. 411, and we're 5-1. So that is a good percentage. So yes, I don't like the Air Force Falcons, but I love this situation. Hey, check that, and you can I've always said, feel free to fact check the calculator, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I try to do my research to get it right. But yeah, that's a calculator. Air Force is terrible. They have 1 win this year, and that's against FCS Independent Merrimack. And you know what? Yeah, that's right. It's been an ugly season. Merrimack. That's right. The Air Force Falcons have been bad, but you know what? They showed a little life last week. They held Army. Undefeated Army. Yes, I know Army was without their quarterback, but still Army still ran that triple option better than anybody, better than Navy, better than Air Force themselves. Ran it to perfection, but Air Force defense bowed up. And you know what? If you look at this graphic right here, Fresno State is susceptible to playing down to their competition. Heck, they lost straight up to Hawaii as a double-digit favorite. So you have a team coming off a surprising loss on the road at elevation, and Mr. 41, it's already cold in Colorado Springs. I looked at the forecast just to make sure I'm not seeing anything. The high on that Saturday is 45. Folks, people in Fresno don't like that type of weather. Nah, man. At elevation, that's even worse. And hey, I'm going with a triple option in cold weather, folks. So hey, I'm getting a double-digit dog at a 63% cover rate, because they're at home with the low over. The low over under is what triggered the calculator to look at this. So I'm taking the Air Force Falcons plus 10.5, because I think that running triple option will keep Fresno State off balance and keep the game close enough. I think the Air Force defense playing at home will be juiced enough to keep the Fresno offense in check, similar to the way Hawaii did last week.
All right, we're taking the Falcons. All right, there we go. Man, imagine a Saint fan taking the Falcons. Oh boy, look at there. All right, man, that is amazing, and it raises some questions. But do you have some questions, calculator?
Of course I have questions, because people saying, I know they're ready. I know it's been coming, but hey, everybody, new listeners, everybody, we have a treat for you, because we're going to tell the new listeners the 3 things that Mr. 411 believes in.
All right, number 1, Mr. 411 believes in the man upstairs. I mean, look at that, man. You can't create that. Only the man upstairs can create that image right there, calculator. That is definitely one thing that Mr. 411 believes in. And hey, man, another week, we're getting that much closer to old Saint Nick.
Yes.
Old Saint Nick is here. He's on the way, man.
All his helpers at the Kohl's Distribution Center are hard at work getting ready for Saint Nick to come up and pick his order up.
Absolutely. All right. And then, last but not least, Mr. 411 believes in our guy, Dr. Sachs.
Dr. Sachs.
And the algorithm.
That's right. Hey, we know the algorithm has been struggling, but the one thing we love about the algorithm, every new week's gives it more information for it to come up with something. And this was an interesting, because the algorithm, for some reason, the algorithm loves Oregon State Beavers. So as I said, well, okay, I'm going to give the algorithm credit. What does the algorithm see that a lot of people aren't seeing? Where they seeing Oregon State pretty good on the road. San Jose State, not good on the road. Yes, San Jose State runs a true air raid offense, and that plays in. That's going to be an air raid offense is not like a running game and can struggle in bad home field environments for the against a team going on the road. So I think the algorithm really likes, and the algorithm loves these low type spreads because it always has that push of a -3, a push to get them out of trouble. It was 2.5. So unfortunately, by the time we went to air, it had ticked up to 3. So hey, we have to give you the number it is at the time of production. So we apologize. It was 2.5, moved to 3 because I think a lot of the sharps are seeing what the algorithm is saying and thinking that Oregon State should be close to a 3-point favorite. So yeah, algorithm likes Oregon State -3. So hey, Dr. Sachs, thank you for the pickup because this one didn't make my radar. San Jose State, they're one of those tricky teams, but hey, I trust the algorithm if they see something that I don't. So Oregon State -3.
All right, Oregon State -3. We do believe in Dr. Sachs and the algorithm, people.
That's right.
All right. Well, Calculator, man, what an episode today, man. We covered a lot. And boy, I am ready for the friendly wagers, man. I'm ready to fatten my pockets because I got some gifts I gotta get, man. I mean, I'm part of this thing, the Secret Santa stuff and all that, man. I need some extra cash, man. So it's time to flip some money here. So I gotta get my friendly wagers rolling, man. And I hope everybody else do the same.
And hey, 2 straight weeks. If you just took all the picks, you're coming out a winner. And that's all we get. We hit a rough spot at the middle of the year. I think there were 2 weeks we were losers. But hey, I want you to fact check me. I want you to look at our prior episodes and know that I'm not lying to you. Hey, if I come on every show and tell you how I did the prior week, and last week was another winner. So yeah, we're going to try and keep that up, Mr. Foreman, especially since we're trying to pad up the account for Christmas time.
Man, and look, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Definitely appreciate that. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, the notification bell, and share because sharing is caring. Make sure you do all that on YouTube. That is 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. Make sure you do that for us. Also, follow us on Instagram at Mr. 411. Follow us on TikTok, Mr. 411. Also, as you can see below, JD Lamps Home Decor, powered by Event Creations of Middle Georgia. Make sure you support JD Lamps. Calculator, you know why. I mean, you have the gifts. A gift from JD Lamps. Man, it's amazing. Right. Look at that. That comes from a bottle.
That's right. Fully recyclable. She does amazing things. She's a friend of the show, and hey, we appreciate her support for our podcast.
That's right. And I heard that she funds some of her business with the friendly wagers, the winnings that she gets.
That's it. And that's why we try. And Mr. 411, we hadn't said it in a while, but yay, the calculator's I'm a capitalist. I want everybody to make as much money as you can, folks.
Absolutely. Indeed. All right. Well, man, I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did, as much as we enjoyed to do these episodes for everybody. And hey, we're going to get together again for another week of Crossing the Lines on next Thursday. And don't forget to catch the calculator also on Tuesdays with the fantasy football, the 401 fantasy football show. And calculator, I'm working the waiver wire. And so I'm trying to take some of the advice there and fill a couple of holes that I have, man, in my roster. So I hope everybody.
Mr. 401, you're way too modest. And folks, for people that listen, Mr. 401's #1 in his fantasy league. I don't want to hear it.
Oh man. All right, calculator, I appreciate that. All right,
but I also want to tell people Mr. 401's #1 because he listens to the advice that's coming out on that show, So.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? You got to take advantage of the product, man. Like,
that's right.
People, it's out there for you, man. Calculators dropping all these nuggets, man. Not, friendly wagers, fantasy football. You have to listen to the calculator.
Yeah, I'll try.
All right. All right. Well, Bo, you know what time it is. So I hope he's gearing up for this. So before we get out of here, just want to say thank you once again, everybody. And here's to you, Bo.
Bo.
We'll see y'all later.